Hey folks, welcome to the Taking the Lid Off YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you a video from about lesson 3 or 4 of learning how to fly a helicopter. As you may know, I'm using my GI Bill learning how to fly helicopters in this next chapter of my journey since retiring from the military. So, if you've ever looked into learning how to fly a helicopter, you may have seen that hovering is one of the hardest things to learn how to do, and it is absolutely true. I had just started learning how to hover around just before this lesson. So, and I won't go real deep into it, but it's learning how to hover. You think you've got a cyclic, which is the stick, and you just hold it there on the helicopter and it stays in one place and you hover, right? Not even close. So, again, I won't go real deep, but what I want to show you here is if you're looking to learn how to fly a helicopter, if you're thinking about it, or if you just want to watch, whatever's fine. But this will show you a good example of cyclic control, which again is kind of the stick. And on the R-22 helicopter that I'm flying, it's more of a stick in the middle that comes out, and you've got your two controls so that the instructor has one and you have one. Okay, and that's so that the instructor can take over and you don't kill both of you as you're learning how to fly this thing. So what you're going to see here is we fly up to a concrete pad, and we were going to try this hovering box drill out that I had brought up, but I clearly was not ready for. But thought, hey, we'll give it a try. So my instructor takes me over there. He demonstrates it, and then I try to do it. And what I caught, because the GoPro catches such a nice wide field of view, it catches both of our cyclic controls. And so what you're going to see is the way he controls the cyclic and the way I control the cyclic. So without further ado, we'll get to the video and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay folks, as you can see, we're coming into this square concrete pad here, and my instructor Tim is bringing us over. He's going to hover and he's going to demonstrate how to do this hovering box drill. Now the biggest thing I want you to watch is his hand and see how he controls the cyclic, okay? The small inputs and how he kind of goes back and forth and brings it back to neutral as he hovers laterally. Okay, that's the biggest takeaway that you can get, and was kind of an aha moment for me when I went back and watched the video and I see how he controls the cyclic versus how I was controlling the cyclic. But keep in mind, at this point I was able to hover, but hovering for me at this point was holding the helicopter generally in one spot for about 30 seconds before I started kind of waffling around. Okay, so it took me about 4 hours to get kind of what you would qualify as being able to hover. Okay, and being able to hover again is extremely hard, and I've heard people say they get it in a couple hours, and I've heard people tell me it took them 12 hours. So it's very difficult. It's just something you have to get in the helicopter and do and experience. But I thought this video would be really helpful for those that are possibly learning how to fly a helicopter. Again, hopefully you've been watching and noticing his hand movements. Now he hands the controls to me, right? And what you're going to see is, notice my hand, and I'm not making the same kind of inputs that my instructor was. If you see, I'm making very small inputs, but just not enough to hover laterally and keep it in one spot. Okay, and then I mean, you see the helicopter moving around. Now we're off the pad, and I'm just not out of control, but I'm not able to control the helicopter in that manner. Okay, so here we are back. He brings us back. Instructor hands the controls over to me again, and it doesn't take long. But again, notice I'm not making the same kind of inputs he was. The best way I can describe it is, I wasn't flying the helicopter. I was letting the helicopter fly me around. My inputs were not enough to control and fly the helicopter. So folks, I hope you got something out of this. The biggest takeaway should be how to control the cyclic. As you're learning, the biggest problem or the biggest trouble that people have with how to hover is they over control. Okay, and the cyclic just needs small but sometimes very often inputs, and you have to bring it back to neutral. And then also there's a delay in those inputs. So once you understand how the rotor system works and what makes it fly, there's a slight delay in the input. So a lot of times you over control because you'll move the cyclic a certain direction because you want to go that direction, and it's not going there quick enough, so you keep putting that in when in reality you need to put that in, bring it back to neutral, and it'll come in. But when you're trying to do exercises like we were just then, that's where you've got to be doing that constant input, and it depends on the wind, which way you're facing, all those kinds of things. So I hope you got something out of this. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments, and have a good one. God bless America.